like Lisa with the T.
Okay, that one I got.
Okay, so welcome to this week's episode of Monday Biz Motivation with the Culver City Chamber. My name is Candance Simmons. I'm a board member, also an owner of All That and More Boutique here in Culver City. I have the pleasure of hosting these segments with Rafia Cooper, who's also an ambassador for the Culver City Chamber. And we are so excited that we get to weekly meet various business owners who serve in Culver City and serve the community. The Culver City Chamber is a connector of resources, people, and ideas, and that's what this segment is all about. I'm going to turn it over to Rafia, who will have the treat of introducing our special guest.
Certainly is a treat.
Yes.
Hi, Candance. Happy Monday to you.
Thank
and
you.
to everyone watching, welcome to our show. And if you have questions, please put them in the comments and we'll be happy to answer. So I saw this company on Shark Tank and I'm super excited to introduce them. So we have Javon English and Tisa Smart-Washington from Milk and Brookies. Welcome, ladies.
Yay.
How are you today?
Great. Hello.
Good.
Thank you for having us.
We're all about Shark Tank, of course. But before we go into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got your business started and how long ago did you get it started?
Okay, so this is the brainchild of myself, and I couldn't decide between a brownie and a cookie. I knew that I should not have both. And when I'm craving something intensely, there's no like portion control, right? So I knew that I couldn't have both, but I knew that I only ate one cupcake at a time. So I made it in the shape of a cupcake so that I could satisfy every craving I was having at the moment. Tisa is my cousin. And so we did it initially, it was 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago. So my mom is a nurse practitioner and midwife. And so she would take them to the office and some of the pharmaceutical sales reps started asking about them. My sister, who's also a part of the company, had just had a baby. And so we were trying to just eat, they're expensive. So we were just trying to figure out ways to like replace a bill, like maybe the cable bill, maybe the electricity, who cares? Just one of them. Right. And so we started selling them and we came up with this name and we weren't really set on the logo yet, but we posted it. And Tisa, who's my cousin that lives in Atlanta, was like, what is going on? I definitely need to be a part of that. And so this was before she even tasted a brookie. She knew
They just looked amazing. They just looked amazing. And just like anyone, if you have a really close friend or a super close family member, whatever they post on social media, you like first, and then you call them and say, hey, what is that? Which is what I did with Javon. And it has been a ride since.
Yeah. And so how long ago? This is 6 years ago, you said?
Yeah, that was 6 years ago when that happened. And in that process, we found our way onto Shark Tank. But yeah, it was maybe, I don't, the timing, well, Tisa always had this list of things that she wanted to do, a list of 40 before 40. And so one of those items was being on Shark Tank. So in our upbringing, we do a lot of like manifesting and positive thinking. So it's about like identifying something that we want to do. And we're not as much concerned with the process. We just speak it into existence and we know what's going to happen. So that was on her list of 40 before 40. So she made that happen. And I'm thankful and grateful for it.
Yeah, and there's nothing like the feeling that you get when a family member or a close friend says yes to something you've created that, you know, you've manifested and God has said yes, and then you go ahead and launch it and your family jumps on, because, you know, our family can be our greatest supporter or our worst critic. But when they say yes, you're just floating on clouds because they're like, I got confirmation from a family member. And if she said yes to being a part of it, that took you to a whole nother level.
Yes, it did. It really did.
Right.
Yes. And what we were able to do, what worked very well, especially for me, because I live on the other side of the United States, I could not necessarily bake. And in all honesty, you don't want me baking.
Her location has nothing to do with her ability.
You couldn't be that. You couldn't be in part of the production, but
yes. But my talent was being able to put together websites and logos and those kind of things. And the thing that made Milk and Brookie work so well is that as partners, we brought a different skill, a different energy to the table, and we all worked in concert with one another instead of us all trying to do the same thing. And it just came together. Technology is an amazing thing, and it allowed us to work together in a way that we may not have been able to do maybe 5 years, prior.
Right.
That's I mean, we couldn't be doing what we're doing currently right this second
Exactly.
if it weren't for technology. So yes, I totally wholeheartedly agree with you. Absolutely. So now, how did you get to Shark Tank?
Okay, Jojo, I'll take this one. So getting Milk and Brookies on Shark Tank was on my 40 before 40 list. So I had this list that I put together when I was 39, and I said, okay, we're going to try to accomplish all 40 of these. And I was at work one day, and there was a casting call for Shark Tank in Atlanta. And I called Jojo and I said, I had been looking on the Shark Tank website to see when the casting call would happen in LA because she needed to go.
Right.
And never came up.
Toss me around, as you can see. The older cousin. It
never came up for LA. They had them in Orlando and New York, but they never came up for LA. And there was this casting call in Atlanta. And I called Jojo and I said, hey, let's just fill out the application. The worst that they can do is say no, and we'll be in the same position that we're in now.
Right.
Filled out the application. They said that it was a Wednesday, and they said that we would hear from them by Friday, and we did not. Sunday, we got the email that said, we want you to pitch for Shark Tank on Monday, the next day. So I called Jojo and I said, we have to find a flight. And we looked for every single flight, any flight that we could find that would get Jojo here in time for the audition. And
nothing.
No. And at that point, I had not even baked a brookie. So she literally taught me how to bake brookies on FaceTime. I showed her my oven and she told me what to do. And I made the brookies, took them to the audition, and I had to audition by myself.
Wow.
And it just so happened that I ended up auditioning for the casting director, not one of his assistants, not one of the folks that were here helping put together the casting call, but I actually got to pitch to him. And because his office is in Culver City, at the time we were in Bottle
Rock.
Yeah. And so he was already familiar with the restaurant, and one thing led to another, and we ended up on Shark Tank. It was amazing. They were amazing.
Did he actually try your brookie, the one that you made?
He did, and we practiced our pitch over FaceTime, and we put everything together. And I don't think I've ever been that nervous. But I held it down for the crew. That's what you do in business.
Right.
That's
and
awesome.
your passion, the passion that I'm sure you came across with, because this was something that was on your list, you're 40 before 40. And so that passion and drive definitely, I'm sure, carried you through it.
Yeah. It's probably great that you got to audition because of exactly what Candance just said, and you made that much more of an impact.
Yes.
But you were not on the actual show. So tell us how that happened that you weren't there. Because I know there's 2 other members, and I remember seeing 3, and you would make 4.
Yes.
What happened?
So they told us early on in the process, because it is a process. They give you tasks to do from week to week. And they told us early on in the process that all 4 of us were not going to be on the show because they don't have room for 4 people and the sharks, and they don't have that space. So they told us more than likely it would be 2 or 3.
Okay.
So we fill out the paperwork. There was one packet that was about 45 pages long that we had to fill out. And one of the questions is that they ask is, will you run for office? And at the time, I was an appointed official. But what I said to myself was that if I don't try this, I will always, question myself. I would regret it. So I checked the box no. We talked to them about it. And when they came back, they decided that they would only take the 3.
Okay.
We wanted to decide on which 3, and they made that decision for us. And just really when it comes to business, when you realize that the business is bigger than any individual person, especially because this is Javon's brainchild, like we all came on board to support her,
right?
That it was more important to me that Milk and Brookies made it on Shark Tank than it was that I made it on Shark Tank.
Awesome.
I mean, we're just here to support. I was here to support Javon, and I did exactly that. So sometimes in business, you have to know when it's time for you to take a step back and let the business grow, because you want it to be bigger than you.
Right.
So you want it to go on and survive well past your contributions. That's the whole point. You want it to grow bigger than you, And so because of that, I was not able to be on the show. Since then, I've been elected twice, actually.
Really? So, in what capacity?
I am the tax commissioner in Rockdale County, Georgia.
Oh, nice.
Okay. And was recently reelected. And one of the things that they tell you is that you cannot be an elected official and have participated on the show. So that God knew better than me the plan that he had for me. And what is amazing is that I was able to go on and do other things, and Milk and Brookies is still here doing amazing things. And JoJo and I talk all the time. Javon and I talk all the time. And I tell her that, we're still on the Milk and Brookies is still climbing. And that's what's the most amazing about this journey. All that they have been able to do, they've been able to do, and this is not the end. This is just the beginning.
Yeah. So for those that are watching and that have aspirations of going on Shark Tank, how long was the whole process of, applying and actually getting on the show?
Well, for us, I think it was unusually short. And I only say that because of all of the other guests on Shark Tank when we were filming and doing our rehearsal. So we submitted the application. What was that, Tisa? March or April?
April.
And then we filmed by Father's Day, I think it was.
In June.
Okay.
So it was in the same year. It was so fast. And so when we spoke with other people, they had been waiting for a year, like the time frame, it seems like it varies, but ours was pretty swift.
And just to add to that, I still would from time to time look at the casting calls, and the casting call in LA came up after they had already filmed their episode. So it was in the cards for them to not only audition, but to make it onto the show.
Yeah, that's awesome. So speaking of beginnings, Javon, I met you at a kiosk in Westfields Mall. Actually, I met you here at the boutique first.
Yeah.
Because you came out for
you were doing an event with
Manly Hands.
Yes, Manly Hands.
Yes.
So we were there on a Friday night with lemon drops. I remember that.
Right. And you brought cookies, and I was like, wait a minute, did you say brownie and cookie? Hold on. I don't need a massage. Where's that brookie? But I really enjoyed the brookie, but I also enjoyed coming to the Westfields Mall, Fox Hills Mall, as we will forever call it.
It's always that for me.
Yes. And seeing you there in your kiosk and your whole display. And, I remember a couple times I went there and folks would say, you're on Shark Tank. You're on Shark Tank. So how did being on Shark Tank and then having your kiosk there at the Fox Hills Mall, how did that impact your business?
Tremendously. We actually did our first pop-up at the Fox Hills Mall. It had to be Labor Day weekend. So that was prior to Shark Tank airing, right? And so it was just a 3-day thing. And so it was great. It was the support that we received from, I went to St. Mary's High School, and so in USC for undergrad. And so the support that we received from those alumni associations was like tremendous. It was overwhelming. I remember being in the bed one morning almost in tears because you don't realize the support that you get from people because you are not usually engaging in practices that require support. Right. Mm-hmm. So like I was seeing people that I hadn't seen in forever come up to the mall. It was just fantastic. And so then after Shark Tank aired, because, you know, we, you can't talk about it. It's like this cloak of secrecy. We used to call it the Goldfish Bowl. That was our code so that we wouldn't slip up in part when we were out in public and people hear us. So we called it the Goldfish Bowl. But after Shark Tank aired, it was like insane because, you know, it was a different level of exposure. Mm-hmm. And so people are coming up from all over the place. They want to give you hugs. You'll know, it's just like, it's insane. So that it allows people to connect to a brand, which is not something that usually happens. You know, like you may have a favorite designer or a favorite place that you love to eat, but very rarely do you get to speak with the person that is the creator of that. So it gives you a different or unique level of familiarity that translates great when it comes to selling a product.
Yeah. And to add to what Javon said, I think sometimes we miss opportunities by not sharing with our close friends and our circles and organizations that we are in, because people want to support you. People want to, especially if you're a person that you always support other people. Mm-hmm. They're just looking for the opportunity to do that. We just have to not be afraid to share and to put ourselves out there. You'll be so surprised how many people really do want to support your brand or your business, you know, whatever your service, you know, whatever you're working on. A lot of people, especially if you've already put those good vibes out there.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think that more people are looking for that connection between the designer or the creator of the business, you know, or even like, how excited are you when you go to a restaurant and the chef comes out and talks to you?
Right. Exactly.
So I think all of those reasons, it's a good thing to be more hands-on and to talk about what you're doing.
Right.
Absolutely.
And they know you by name, and, you know, they remember what you had the last time and they introduce you to other things. So speaking of meeting the brand and the designer and, you know, just being connected, because again, like you said, that's what people want to do. How can we connect with you since you're not in the Westfields Mall anymore? How are you getting those brookies out there to all the folks that have come to love your brookies?
Well, we've always been online based. A common question that people ask us is if we're ever going to have a brick and mortar or a store. And right now it hasn't been something that we've desired to do, only because we are a specialty, like a novelty. And sometimes the feeling of that can actually wear off, right? Mm-hmm. So it is a business. And if we had to spend a ton of money on overhead, then it might not be a good thing. So we've always been an online based business, and we ship literally all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's awesome. Now
I'm sorry. And because of that, when COVID hit, we were able to pivot in ways that more established businesses were not able to. So we saw a huge spike in business when COVID hit, and especially when folks were looking for opportunities to support Black businesses. We were already there. We were already online. That was in our wheelhouse. And so it helped to keep us agile. You know, we're very flexible. We can do things that you can't necessarily do when you have a brick and mortar.
Right.
You know. Wait, so we didn't talk about, did you get a deal? Do you want to tell everybody if you got the deal or not?
We did not get a deal. No, we did not get a deal. But the exposure that we gained is incomparable. I don't even know anything else that we could have done that could have amounted to that level of exposure that we were able to garner in that short period of time.
Okay. So that was the deal.
That was it. I mean, even before we literally went out to to do the pitch for the show, right? We said a prayer and it was just like, okay, listen, you guys, our goal is to get on air because there's so many people that actually pitch in front of the Sharks that do not appear on TV, right? So our goal was to appear on TV. And keep in mind, this is my cousin, my sister, like one of my closest friends. So our relationship is genuine. We mesh. We have crazy inside jokes, you know, like we're just having a good time experiencing this together, right? And so it was just about being our authentic selves while we were displaying ourselves to the world. We love Beyonce. My sister and I go to every single Beyonce and Jay-Z concert ever, right? And so it was only natural for us to dance while we
Yes.
But that's just who we are. You know, it's about like Tisa talked about in the beginning, how she said if they said no, we would be in the same place, right? So yes, we share our ideas and thoughts, but we recognize that people have opinions and they're just theirs, right? So if it's something that we decide to do, we try to look at it from all angles and not so much be influenced by someone's opinion if it's not in line with what our goal is.
Well, yeah, and
right?
you have nothing to lose, but everything
Right.
to gain. So,
Exactly.
you know, absolutely, you should just try it and see if it works.
Exactly.
And you're right. A lot of times those companies do get great exposure of just being on the air, and so many people watch those shows, you know.
You know, they say at the time, and I'm sure it's more now because it's been 5 years, that appearing on Shark Tank equates to about $5 million in marketing dollars. And so it was a huge opportunity for us, especially being as young as we were, and as
I am still young.
The business, not the people. And but in terms of numbers, they say that 45,000 people audition for Shark Tank every year. They only about 125 pitch, and only about 100 actually make it on air.
Wow.
So we totally beat the odds. We had no business going on Shark Tank.
Like zero business, like none whatsoever. We were petrified of the questions. My sister is a Shark Tank fanatic. She's just like, okay, so Lori's going to ask us this. Robert's going to ask us this. We have to do it. Was
but we did it, and it was an amazing experience from the initial audition to even today when they re-air the shows, and we could tell because there's an uptick in orders.
Yeah.
But I would not have changed that experience for anything, because if it didn't teach me anything else, it taught me the power of the try.
Were you guys nervous? Were you nervous at all, like being on camera?
No. Well, I have had commercials. We were just talking about this the other day. I did a focus group and I did a commercial for Sit and Sleep. My sister is petrified. Like, she does not like to do any public speaking at all. Like, even if we're having like a family dinner and she has to stand up and do something, like, she's not for it, you know? We had already done KTLA. We did a Sunday segment prior to the airing of the show, but I'm not really nervous about being, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm not nervous at all. I'm like public speaking. I may get a little jitters right before, but I just say, okay, come on, JoJo, like pull it together, because I think that I don't have any nerves when it comes to this because I don't operate from a place of fear, right? Okay. So the thought is that if I do this and it doesn't work, I'm not going to lose any traction, right? I will just literally be right where I was prior to doing it. But if I do it and it does work, then there's so much to gain from it. And like Tisa and I talk about all the time, we have kids, we're moms, and we talk about the importance of representation. And it matters. Like, it matters so much so that even if it doesn't work, we have to show the try. Right. And if it does work, we have to show that it's possible. But in our representation, we are extremely transparent. Like, we're tired. We miss a lot of social stuff, not now because, the pandemic, but prior to, like, it was a lot of birthdays that I missed for a lot of people that I would have been right there. But like, the value that I give my daughter in showing her the ability to run a successful business, go to work, be a mom, take care of self. Like, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, it's worth those sleepless nights.
And my daughter, her birthday was actually the weekend that Shark Tank aired. And so we flew to LA and I took her with me and we spent the Saturday morning after the episode aired
in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. You know, and she tells me now, she's 16 now, and she tells me, you know, I spent my 11th birthday, you know, baking brookies, but it was an amazing experience for her as well to be a part of the process, not just, you know, see the process happen or hear about it. You know, she was a part of the process as well, you know, and I say that she's going to be an amazing woman when she gets older. I just have to get her out of high school.
Yes, that's awesome.
But representation is very important. And the best way for us to represent is to do.
Okay.
That's awesome. I love it. Show the try. That is awesome. Show the try and the representation. So when you think about Brookies and you mentioned the impact COVID had on it and where it actually had an increase in your business, and you also shared just the numbers that you shared about the marketing dollars that you got from just appearing on Shark Tank is amazing. So that was truly, you know, your manifestation, your 40, you know, 40 before 40. And well, I'll come back to that because I almost touched on your birthday, but I want to keep going where I was going. I'm going to come back to your birthday, though. So when you think about it, there are, since you guys aired 5 years ago, there are so many different dessert companies that are out there. And even yesterday, I was at Amazon Fresh and I'm walking around and I see this brookie. I'm like, this doesn't have the special sauce, like, you know. So talk about, you know, coming up with this concept that you had and then seeing it duplicated. How do you press forward in those moments where you see your idea duplicated in a way that you know it was, you know, kind of ripped off, so to speak? How do you press forward? How do you stay focused and keep moving?
Well, you know, first, I think my first thought is imitation is the highest form of flattery, right? So a brookie is not something like we didn't truly create a brookie, but we do make it in the shape of a cupcake. Like we say, it's a brownie topped by a cookie made in the shape of a cupcake. And we do that intentionally so you can understand what ours looks like. And we did get a trade dress on the way that we make it. Okay. Right. So after we aired, then we started to see him at Papa John's first, and he was sitting. We pitched in front of Mark Cuban. Right? So I mean, you know, like when we see it, it's just like I don't know. Like it just kind of maybe just depends on what else is going on. I mean, it's nice to see. I know it's not the same thing. I mean, there's Pepsi, there's Coke, there's RC Cola. So I know that there's enough for us to have it in the market. It is kind of nice. It feels like a pat on the back to know that the world is engaging in brookies because we presented brookies on Shark Tank. So that feels kind of great. I mean, I would be dishonest if I said I wish I didn't have a piece of the pie that they're getting, because now we see brownie cookie mix from Duncan Hines. The other day I saw brookie Oreos in the grocery store. Like we see literally everything. And so for me, it's nice. We do oftentimes get DMs in our Instagram and things like that so that people could say, make sure that we're aware of it. But I'm not offended by it. It's just like, that's cute. They tried it. Like, right. It just feels like, I mean, you know, it's usually one flavor. We have a variety of flavors. And so, I mean, it's cute. It's flattering. That's
well, and also I think you hit the nail. Kind of what you were saying is that there's enough for everyone. There's enough for the pie for everyone to enjoy. You know,
right.
And by the way, I'm sorry that we are doing this virtually. Otherwise, we would have made you bring us the samples.
We definitely would have.
I'm sure my Valentine's Day order will be in there right after this call. I'm going online because again, I looked yesterday and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna wait. You know, but can you tell us a little bit about the flavors? Because you have the OG, you have a turtle. You tell us about those flavors so I can just fill it up in here.
So the OG is how we started. It's the original, and so it's a fudge brownie topped by a chocolate chip cookie. Now I have a nut allergy, so I never even thought about nuts or anything in the brownies. And so one day my dad was like, well, make some with walnuts. So we have the OG with walnuts. We have the turtle, which is amazingly popular. I remember when my sister first had the turtle, she said, "This is it." So in the fudge brownie, it has pecans. The caramel, I'll tell you Tisa's favorite. The cookie has caramel, pecans, and chocolate chip. Tisa loves the peanut butter brookie.
Yes.
And so in the brownie, we have peanut butter chips, and the cookie is very peanut buttery. I don't know what these last three that I've told you, I don't even know what they taste like, but I do know that the peanut butter lovers, they do not veer at all from the peanut butter.
It's like a grown-up Reese's cup, if you can just imagine. And I am not a big fan of brownies, but I can eat brookies all day. And that peanut butter brookie is amazing.
Yeah.
Then we have oatmeal raisin. So it's a fudge brownie topped by oatmeal raisin cookie. We have sugar, which is a fudge brownie topped by a sugar cookie. We have snickerdoodle, which is a fudge brownie topped by a snickerdoodle cookie. Did I miss any? And then, we have some specialty that come out when we actually do pop-ups and things of that sort. So sometimes when we do a pop-up, we'll do a red velvet. So it's a red velvet brownie with cheesecake and a chocolate chip cookie. We'll do cookies and cream, which is a brownie, a fudge brownie with Oreos with cheesecake and a chocolate chip cookie. Sometimes we'll do a blondie. So that's a blonde brownie. So it's blonde, like it has white chocolate, toffee, and butterscotch. And then we do top that with a snickerdoodle cookie. I mean, we have had some other flavors. We've tried to experiment. One of my favorite that we have not done in a million years, we called it a chocolate chill, I think it was. And so it was a fudge brownie with with the mint. So it tastes like a thin mint cookie. And the cookie on top was a chocolate chip. Oh my God. And I don't remember if I just love the taste or if it was the smell. The smell when I baked that chocolate chill. Girl, that's fine.
Right. My personal favorite, I like the OG because my husband has a nut allergy, but then I also like the OG with the nuts.
Walnuts,
I've tried the turtle. I love it. I've tried pretty much everything you had in there. I was like, okay, give me one of those, give me one of those, give me one of those. And then I call friends and clients over and say, okay, let's try this together. And even when we had the event where we had the male masseuse here, we ordered a dozen. And do you still have the varying sizes?
We took that. We do, if people have parties, like we do, people have like candy tables or dessert tables, we will do a brookie table. Okay. And so sometimes we'll do the mini brookies there, but right now it's all standard size.
Okay.
And so we have a half a dozen and a 4-pack that we sell online. And then we ship them all over the place, but yeah, we do it all.
And do you have a big surge for Valentine's Day right now?
Yeah, Valentine's Day sometimes. I think maybe the biggest surge is usually like the holidays, like Christmas. But Mother's Day is pretty big as well because everybody wants to get their mommy something.
Right, right.
And from time to time, we do open up the test kitchen. So if we get suggestions from, we call them brookie monsters. If we get suggestions from them, we may create something especially for them. So we had a bacon brookie at one time, and that was a suggestion from one of our brookie lovers.
The cookie was a maple bacon, and I like bacon, but I just couldn't really get with the bacon with the cookie. But it was a maple bacon cookie, and that did really well. I forgot all about that.
Bacon makes everything better.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So Sandra of Helms Flowers, she just said she's drooling. She's like, I'm drooling. I'm right there with you, Sandra, because I remember.
I think my favorite would be the turtle. I love caramel, and the peanut butter sounds really good too. I like that combination as well.
It's really good.
I'll have to try them.
Yeah, they're really good. But I think for me, because the original size or the regular size is shareable. Mm-hmm. So the minis, because I could have a variety of minis. So I'm like, okay. But we have truly enjoyed having you ladies on today.
Thank you for having
us.
Yes, we're actually at the half-hour mark, beyond the half-hour mark, which really speaks to how much we've enjoyed having you because we're past that half-hour mark.
Great conversation. Yes, great conversation.
Yes. And so one of the things that we also want to do at this time is talk to you or share with our audience some of the events that we have coming up at the Culver City Chamber, because as we mentioned, it's a connector of resources, ideas, and people. So we're definitely hoping that people will connect with Brookies. There is a promotion that's happening that's specially for our listeners. And anything that you place, anything that you order through the end of February, you get free shipping using the code MBM, which stands for Monday Biz Motivation. So, yes, there's free shipping through the end of February. And also, we want to talk about our events that we have coming up for the rest of the month, too. We're so happy that you guys are doing well during COVID. I'm sure people are at home and all they're thinking about is comfort foods and, things to take their mind off of what we can't do, but you can have a brookie. So,
and especially if you can have it shipped to you.
Yes.
And free shipping, that's awesome.
Isn't it? What a blessing. Thank you. So the event that we have to keep our business owners informed of what's going on with COVID and the updates, there's a roundtable that's happening today, February 8th at 2:30. It's a bi-weekly meeting where we hear from City Council. The Chamber's president is on sharing any information that we receive that's updated that as business owners we need to take and implement or shift and make changes. There's also some new labor laws that have been implemented that we need to be aware of, whether you have one employee or you have a number of employees. There's some labor laws that have changed. So tomorrow, February 9th, from 10 a.m. to 12, you'll be able to attend a virtual session and get updates on the new labor laws. Rafia, you got the next ones?
Sure.
Okay.
So on February 16th, we have the Government Affairs Committee meeting from 4 to 5 p.m. And then Coffee and Commerce, Wednesday, February 17th at 8:30 a.m. To 10 a.m. And that's a virtual event, and it's a great event to connect and network.
Mm-hmm. And next up, we're excited about this one too. It's new. It's Convo with a council member, and that's starting on February 18th from 4 to 5 p.m. And for other events that are taking place, please visit our new Culver City Chamber website. It's been reformatted. There's some great things out there. There's opportunities for businesses to advertise as well. And again, continue to collaborate with us. So ladies, we'd like to extend an invitation to have you join us for Convo and Commerce on the 18th. Take a look at your calendars and let us know if it's something that you could attend. We'd love to invite you as our guest. And as Rafia said, it's a great opportunity for you to meet other business owners, like-minded individuals, and network with them as well, all virtually. So you bring your coffee, we got the commerce.
And you can eat a brookie along the way, I'm sure.
Right. Right. So with that, I guess we should move on to the topic for this whole platform is Monday Motivation, Monday Biz Motivation. So we'd love to hear from you ladies. What motivates you?
You go first, Tise.
And it could just be for this week, or it could be, for always.
Well, I have to say that Javon motivates me.
Oh,
Really, really understanding and embracing this whole idea of representation and how it matters. Really motivates me. Mm-hmm. When I look at my daughter, I look at the next generation. When I look at, my cousin, when I look at people who have these dreams that they want to fulfill, it's easy for me to tell you to do it. But it's more important that I show you that it can be done. Because of that, that drives me just a little bit more to try, to exercise that power that's in that try. Because, if it doesn't, the only two things that could happen is that either I win or I learn. And those are both those both add to my quality of life. So it's important that I do that so that I can not just tell people, I can show people.
I love that. That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, me too, because I don't even know how I follow that. But I'm definitely motivated because for a long time I wanted to be able to do something in terms of business, but I didn't really know what it was, right? And so the thought that something that I've enjoyed my entire life, a brownie and cookie, could open the doors to so many things is motivation in and of itself. I know that Tisa and I spoke about, we always talk about this, but there's sometimes in life where you have experiences and you're able to reflect back and you're able to say like, oh my God, that was a life-changing moment, right? But we have had the privilege of having this as an experience, and we can say in the moment like, oh my gosh, this is a life-changing moment. And for me to be able to have the ability to have a life-changing moment that I can acknowledge and recognize in the moment and share that with people that I love is the motivation for me to keep going. Because most people don't, you know what I mean? So most people, it's hindsight. I have the ability to recognize it while we're in it. And that's huge. And I would be remiss if I didn't take advantage of that and allow that to motivate me.
Awesome.
And even just to add to that a little bit, I share a quick story with you. I was born in LA and I moved here when I was a teenager. But, when I was 12, which I was a little bit older than Javon.
Older is older.
We had a dance group.
The Elite Posse.
Yeah. And I called the Arsenio Hall show to open up for Arsenio Hall. I'm dating myself. To open for Arsenio Hall when I was 12. And the person who answered the phone talked to me and connected me to Rosie Perez. And it was a whole thing. And it's funny that, as we got older, we still had that same mindset.
Wow.
That,
ask what they do.
And being able to share that mindset with other people is also motivating for me. Mm-hmm. If they say no, you're not in a worse position than you're in right now.
Right.
So might as well try.
Because people always ask us, like, aren't you afraid? And so that's why I think that anytime we converse with people, we make it a point to say that we don't operate from a place of fear, because that's when we're in the audience, people are going to raise their hand and they're going to say, were you afraid? No. So let me just answer that question before we even get to it. We don't operate from fear, but I don't think we ever have.
Mm-hmm. So can we find that audition or that tape of Arsenio Hall and the Elite Posse?
You guys have a lot of great stories. I mean, I think we could talk to you for a longer time. But I think that what you both are saying is that the worst thing that can happen is someone says no. You just ask, and the worst thing that can happen is a no. And right. I think that's a great basic thing to revisit and put it in the forefront of our business right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So Rafia, what motivates you?
Well, I don't know. All of this has been very motivating.
Right?
I actually, a few years back, I was actually at a show in Vegas, a trade show called Magic, and Shark Tank came to my booth and asked if I wanted to sign up. And I entertained the idea, but I was nervous to be on camera and told my daughter, will you go with me? Because at the time, we were doing our business together. And she said, no, I don't want to go on that.
I have to say that, you remember the show Fear Factor?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I learned to just fear factor my life. So if it makes me nervous, I just jump in with both feet, the way that they would, drink it really fast because they were nervous or they were scared, So sometimes I have to tell myself, okay, this is a fear factor moment. Just do it and it'll be done. And then you deal with the aftermath later.
That's good
of
advice.
course, you need to be responsible,
Right.
Say that.
You're factoring it.
No, but it's good advice. I
Yes.
like that, So for me, I've actually been reworking a lot of my jewelry and making them as sets, and I've been posting them, and because of the virus and everything, normally I would get people to model and take pictures, and there'd be a photo shoot and all this. I've become my own model. Or I just lay it down on table and try to do some creative photography. I'm not a graphic artist or any of that by any means. So all of that, my motivation has been that I've been selling it by doing this. I'm going to keep going. So I think, whatever it is, if I can just keep that creativity going, not just in making the jewelry, but in actually presenting it virtually online, I think that's going to be my motivation for this week.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been seeing you, so keep going. Keep going. So my motivation for this week in particular, Valentine's Day is coming up, and so is Galentine's Day. We have been blessed to do several collaborations with perfume designers. Also, we have an event coming up on Saturday with the MAC store talking about red and popping lips. But for what I find with my clients is that, especially during this time, for the people that are home, they don't have a Valentine. I say, well, celebrate Galentine's Day. Send some love to one of your girlfriends, your gals, get together and do something where you're just, expressing love. So we have, again, jewelry designers, things of that nature. And so just pushing more out there. So don't get caught up in what you don't have for Valentine's Day. Really focus on what you can create. So just spreading more love through the accessories that we have, through the perfume that we have, through the new handbags that we'll be delivering shortly that are red convertible backpacks, just putting all that out there and say, express your love for self first. And then anything that comes to you will just be added to what you already have. And put out as much love as you can give and afford to give, and watch how it makes you feel. So those are the things that we'll be focusing in on this week. Just love, more love.
I love that. That's great. That's great. And don't forget about my 14 Days of Kindness Challenge, which will end this Sunday. And I've been having everybody tell me how they're spreading love on the Culver City Kind page. Yes. So keep it going. Trying to get to 100 acts of love that we're spreading. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
So with that, ladies, hang on, because we have a question from the audience. What has been the thing that you have been most proud of accomplishing during the pandemic? That's for you, ladies.
Just that we get to keep on. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people that during the pandemic are not able to do things as regularly scheduled, whether that's get up and go to work or whatever. So not only have we been blessed and fortunate enough to retain our regular employment, we've also been able to continue with Milk and Brookies. I mean, that you want to comfort food whenever you're going through something that's crazy, when you cannot talk to your loved ones. And we've experienced loss during this pandemic. I mean, related to the coronavirus and not related to the coronavirus, but to not be able to fellowship like you would in that time is hard. Yes. You know what I mean? It's difficult. So, the thing that I've been most proud of is being the hug when somebody needs a hug that they can't get from somebody else, And so if I think of what I'm proud of in terms of Milk and Brookies, it's literally that. It's the hug, it's the congratulations, it's the I'm sorry, it's the support. And if we're able to do that through a Brookie, then I'm happy that we're able to extend that to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the opportunities that have come out of the pandemic for us is being able to tell the Milk and Brookies story to a wider audience. That has been an amazing thing for us. And because everything has gone virtual, we're able to participate in ways that we were not able to participate before. So that has really made me smile because I think we have an amazing story. I told Javon all the time, you know, to have a company that's a year old and to make it on the biggest stage in the world for a business it's amazing.
It is.
You know, and because we are authentic when we tell our story, we'll tell you the good, the bad,
right,
and the otherwise. I think we make it more accessible because we're regular people that, you know, tried something. We didn't know how it was going to turn out, but we tried anyway.
You're part of the American dream.
Yes. And I think because we are relatable, then people can see themselves in us.
Yes.
And know they can do it too.
I'm sure you've inspired some listeners and will inspire listeners as, you know, they continue to look at this segment and it gets shared, just to go for the try. I mean, that speaks volume to me, and the fear factor of your life speaks volume. I'm like, I'm not jumping in with the spiders and all those other things, but okay, this is a fear factor moment to the level in which I can go there. So but thank you, ladies, so much for being a part of Monday Biz Motivation. We know you motivated some folks. You motivated Rafia and I in our business. So thank you. And
thank you so much for having us.
Yes. Oh, wait, the birthday do you have a birthday coming up?
I do on Friday.
Okay.
Tell them how old you're going to be.
I'm going to be 44 again.
Okay.
Okay. So it's the second anniversary of your 22nd birthday?
Yes. Yes.
Happy birthday.
I have a lot of those.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
The Chamber. Yes.
This with my.
I have it. I'll send it to you.
Definitely.
Are there birthday brookies?
Well, she wants peanut butter one.
I'll send you some.
Thank you.
I'll do
what I know she wants peanut butter.
Yes, because I don't make peanut butter. That's the one brookie that I have not mastered. So
the one.
Family, we got you. Well, ladies, like I said, we're going to close it out. We thank all of our viewers for watching. Definitely continue to, as you view this, definitely put out questions there that we will get you answers to. If we can't answer them, we'll definitely know how to reach out to the ladies and ask them to respond to your questions. So again, we're excited to have you, ladies, Milk and Brookies on Monday Biz Motivation. There's free shipping through the end of the month. Oh, Sandra says, great story and happy birthday. Thank you. So Rafia, ladies, hang on. We're going to do a wrap up, but I'll have Rafia close us out.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. Please share this video if you like it. And if you're interested in coming on our show, please let us know and join us for the Wednesday morning coffee and commerce. And, you know, I hope that you too will join us and do some networking and meet some other business owners. That would be fantastic. Thank you again for joining us today. And we will see you guys next Monday.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.